Welcome to the squad. He's Icewater, I'm Puma, and the squad is sponsored by Rayon Cognac. Join the movement. Contact us at www.rayoncognac.com for more information. Order online. If you're fortunate enough to have it in your city, go get some. Go get some. Matter of fact, get 2 bottles. You know the cookouts are coming out, so you want to be a star in your cookout, go get it. We're going to talk some NBA Finals. The teams are set. The teams are set. We're going to talk some Major League Baseball. And then we have a new owner in Major League Baseball we want to talk about. And usually we take a break during the summertime. So this is our last show of the season 11. But if certain things happen during the summer, we'll jump back in. And you know what that certain something is. All right, let's talk NBA playoffs. Finals are set. I really thought that they were really trying to get OKC in, the way they were trying to get Wembley out of there in foul trouble. I just saw it. I saw it. I'm like, oh my God. Southside Al was texting me during the game, and he was like, man, look at what they're doing. They just up to their shenanigans. But Chet Holmgren disappeared, bro. He disappeared. I don't know if he's just afraid of Wembley. I'm not sure, bro, but he just disappeared. And to have only 4 points in game 7 and looked like he didn't want to shoot the ball. It looked like he was afraid of the basket. It looked like he was afraid of his opponent. I'm thinking you're supposed to be the dominant guy on that team, and you're not dominating or even fighting for game 7. I just didn't see, why he was in the game for the coach to kind of sense that he wasn't going to do anything. And then SGA seemed to run out of gas towards the end of the game. The other thing I will say, Ice, is that with the flopping, and I was saying this with friends of mine, it's like, hey, man, if you're going to foul them, they're going to flop, make the foul count. And you saw San Antonio do that in the last couple of games. Like, we're going to foul you hard. So if you're going to the line, you're going to earn that foul. Your thoughts of the Western Conference Finals, man, and the finals?
Well, I understood what you said about the refs. Well, now we got that out the way. So the refs did not take the games. Told you, did not take the games. What can you say about San Antonio? They came, they conquered, they played real hard. I think Harper is a catalyst. I really do.
Yeah, he
At
is.
different times, he's a catalyst. You don't want to say. I think last show talked about is either going to be playing either Fox or him. I think using Harper as a catalyst really has worked for them, particularly in that last game. Comes off the bench, shows strength. But San Antonio, they had a lot going on. A lot of people stepped up. Champagne stepped up, and Wemby was Wemby Castle, and you had Dylan Harper step up and Keldon Johnson. So they came to play. You can always go back to OKC and say in Game 7 that OKC just didn't have enough. I don't know what else SGA could do. I just don't. And I saw the other guys were struggling. You saw Caruso 3 or 14 from the field. And let me say this about Chet Holmgren. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if it was mental. The biggest issue for me is that he only took 2 shots.
Yeah.
Okay, you score 4 points yet. You got to take more than 2 shots. And someone earlier offline was telling me that he thought he was intimidated by Wemby. And I'm like, how is that possible? I mean, maybe, but Chet Holmgren is an all-star. Okay? An all-star. He's been playing big time basketball for the longest time. I don't know what it is. I think if it's mental, and I'm not saying he's horrible, but he's supposed to be selected. Maybe they're looking at him for the Olympic team, and nah, I'm just like, you don't take 2 shots as the coach. I'm like, you might as well just sat him out.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
I
play
was wondering.
Hardenstein.
I was
You know?
wondering in the game, like he's no impact. Sit him down.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what it is, but Hardenstein could have played the center position. And of course, they had some injuries, right? They had people are injured. Mitchell's out. Some other folks are out. But you got to play the game. You got to come out and still play. And you can't take that from San Antonio. San Antonio went fair and square. They won and got to give it to them. So from that standpoint, that's what it was. San Antonio's played real hard. They believe in themselves and they're not afraid. They're not afraid. They don't fear anything. They don't fear anybody, and they defeated the defending champion. So now we move forward to the finals, and whew, should be interesting. I'm gonna let you go first because I want to see what you think about it, and then I will talk about the finals.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see a well-rested Nick team that pretty much is like the number one defensive team in the playoffs this year go up against this particular team. I look at it as a team that's kind of been here before. None of these teams have been here before, but the Knicks have a lot more experience in the finals. They were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and it seemed like they have a hunger in them that they got to do this. They got to do this, and the time is now. It almost seemed like a pathway was set for them to be here, and by sweeping Philadelphia and sweeping Cleveland and having that misstep against Atlanta, it just seems like when that misstep happened in Atlanta, they just put it in a different gear. They just put it in a different gear, and it just seems to be destined for them to come away with a championship. It should be an interesting series. It should be, and I will say this, and being from that part of the country, if New York wins the finals, man, they're gonna have to shut down New York for a whole week because I mean, get your food and provisions, stay in the house because it's going to be disastrous trying to function in New York after not winning a championship since 1973. And if you win it, just be careful out there because it's going to be wild. I'm a Knicks fan, but I don't claim to be like some of the folks I've been seeing online and some of the videos that they're just going crazy. They'll give up their firstborn and all that stuff for a championship. No, I'm not like that. I just think this is one of the best teams that I've seen come out of New York in a long time to have a chance to do something great. San Antonio is a young team. I think Harper is a catalyst, but I saw Harper, sometimes he'll make mistakes in games in crucial parts of the game. And go back to the Western Conference Championship where he turned the ball over and the backup center from San Antonio blocked the center from OKC's shot going, to the basket. I think he was trying to dunk the ball. I thought that was a game-saving stop right there that really kind of set the stage for San Antonio to win. So it should be interesting to see how Wembley takes the stage on this, and how New York will play aggressive and how their defense will fare against some of the offensive power that San Antonio brings. They both are good defensive teams because I see New York Knicks taking Wembley out of the paint and trying to get him out there so he's not a factor in the paint. But Mike Brown is the guy that I look to who is the advantage. He's been there with championship teams. He knows what it is and know what it takes to win championship. And the San Antonio coach, I really love how he's directing that team, along with Popovich, who's in the back. He's in the shadows of it. But Mike Brown, I think, has this team on another level. And if I had to go with who would win this, I have to go on the coaching of Mike Brown at this particular time. Your thoughts?
Yep, Mike Brown is solid. I think when they picked Mike Brown, I don't think most people knew
Mm-mm.
what the caliber of coach they were getting and what he's capable of. Oftentimes, we find out that the lessons that he teaches because he's been on that level before resonate well with players and resonate from the standpoint and make more sense strategy wise. He's coached LeBron, he's coached a number of other guys on that level, superstars, and what he brings to New York was just different. And I think that's helped them dramatically. You think about this team has won 11 straight games, right? By an average of 23 points. So they've been blowing folks out. They've been running through folks, and they stepped up. I know in the previous games that they won, I think they were, what was it, two? They won the series 2-1 over San Antonio, right? Or 2-1 or 3-1, because I think they played in that championship thing, so it might be 3-1. But with that being said, the one thing that the Knicks were doing, and they're trying to do it now with defense, is pressuring out on those shooters for San Antonio. and they'll be coming out for that. Plus, they had that strong presence on the inside, that three-headed monster of OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson. And I think he's going to play despite having an injury, and also Big Cat. So they're going to be coming after Wimby a lot of different ways, and they play very physical football, basketball. Sorry, very physical basketball, which is going to be a lot different. The OKC did play somewhat physical, but New York's going to play a lot more physical because it's the East Coast and they play Eastern Conference. But I will say this from the standpoint, the Knicks are on fire. They're playing really good basketball. They're on the streak. They're excited. Fans were excited. The only thing I see that may be different, even though they have the experience, Spurs have nothing to lose, man.
No, they don't.
And I think the way that they came off with winning that game 7 on the road showed you they have no fear right now. They don't care. Wimby is a handful. And it'll be interesting to see how the Knicks play defense against Wimby. You almost to the point where I think, like OKC did, you almost had to let him get his. I think the Knicks are going to try to rough him up and they're going to try to use that three-headed monster, but it's not going to work because from the standpoint of what he did against two big guys versus OKC, you're gonna have a lot of frustrated people at that under that rim for the Knicks. And Brunson's gonna be Brunson. You also have with Shamet, Larry Shamet, Mikal Bridges has been balling lately for the Knicks as well. But when you look at the way that Champagne, Fox is coming on, Vassell, Castle, especially Castle. Castle is something's wrong with Castle. Okay? I don't know what it is, but you can't. He doesn't know how to turn the switch off, and that's fine because you want a crazed guy. But that and Harper, they feel like they have nothing to lose,
Yeah.
and they're gonna come out running and pushing the ball, and they're gonna try to run too. They're gonna try to be more physical. I think the way that San Antonio would beat the Knicks in this series is two ways. The Knicks want to run and push the ball. But I think they're going to find out that that's to San Antonio's liking. But if the Knicks are missing shots, right? If they go cold, some guys go cold, they're not hitting open shots. I think it's going to be more of a closer series than people think. And I don't think the Knicks can take it for granted because they're more experienced that they just going to run this team. Wemby is more than a handful. And they're physical, they want to win. If you think the Knicks, because they got the experience, want to win, you have no idea. The way that they played against SGA and OKC, San Antonio wants this bad. And nobody wants it more than Wemby. He was very disappointed when he lost the Olympics, right? When he lost to America. And what better way to show that he, particularly when he did not win the MVP, right? He wants to show that I should have been, and I'm one of the best here. And I think that mindset is where they're at. So the Knicks can use, I think the Knicks can use their experience and try to win the series, but don't get lazy, bro. Because like San Antonio showed you, versus even though OKC was not at full strength, they're coming to play.
Yeah, I think the Knicks want it just as bad, if not worse. And one of the things that I noticed with the Knicks they did this year is they built a solid bench. And a lot of people aren't talking about that. Their bench really kind of what I've seen in these games, in these 11 games, is that when the starters come off the floor, the bench either maintains or extends the lead and gives them more of a cushion, and then the starters come back. Usually there's kind of a letdown when the starters come in and give the five starters a blow, but not with this team. And I've been watching the Knicks for a long time, and they're not like the same Knicks that I've seen growing up and in the 70s, 80s, and 90s after the World Championship in the 70s. They're a different animal. They're a different animal. They like to score, and they can't score, and they have scores in that starting five and also coming off the bench. And that's why they were able to get leads and blow out teams by 30, 40, and 50 points, because that bench is relentless. They know their role, and they know that we can't lose a lead going up against even the starters of another team or the second tier of another team. So that, to me, is the major difference in this Knicks team than any other Knicks team that I've ever seen is that when you go to the bench, you have some solid players that can hit threes, that can play defense, that can get inside, that can score, that could lock down the other team, and so that the starters don't have to feel pressured that, oh, we got to get the lead back, or we got to do this, or we got to slow down this other team. And so that's what I noticed with this particular team is that when they go to the bench is able to extend leads for them. It's almost like you're running track and you got that second and third leg who's just, blowing away whoever they're running against in a 4x4 relay that gives the last leg, cushion to do whatever they want, even to go for a record. And that's the way the Knicks are playing. I mean, they're breaking records in this campaign. So that's the difference being a Knicks fan and seeing it for all these years. There's a big difference in this team than any other team I've ever seen in New York.
I get that. Only thing I'm gonna say about San Antonio on this level, I was looking at their roster. The way the Knicks like to play physical when they can and be physical with that three-headed monster, I think what you're going to see with San Antonio to keep their guys fresh and keep their scores moving and kind of keep the Knicks at bay physically. I think you're going to start. I think they're going to go deeper in the bench so they can get nastier. And I think you're going to see Kelly Olynyk play a few more minutes. You're going to see Mason Plumlee play. And these guys are not coming in to try to score no points or anything like that. They're going to come in, they're going to make it nasty, they're going to get physical, and they're going to try to make it an ugly game when needed to match the nastiness of the Knicks. And I think you're going to see that because that way, if you can give them a little cushion as far as the the timing and the minutes and things of that nature, where they can get a blow, some of the starters and some of the key guys can get a blow. I think it's gonna make for a solid matchup, solid series. So the Knicks are hot. We'll see. Everybody's saying the right thing. Everybody's looking well. You got a good coach. I'm telling you, the young boys. Going off of what a homeboy told his son, Ron Herbert told Dylan. He said, "Just be aggressive. You belong here. You come from good stock. You know what I did, and be aggressive. Don't be afraid to play." And I think that's the mentality that these young men have. They're not afraid. They can play aggressive. Now, it might be some times, as you said, against OKC, they might turn the ball over to the Knicks, but they have no fear. And that can be very dangerous for a young squad that's athletic as hell, trying to block shots, dunking. You might see a few fights too. Might be a few tussles because the Knicks consider themselves to be mean and tough, especially at home in the garden and all that other shit. These young brothers like, look, okay, we in the garden. They're like, look, they do not care. And not saying the Knicks can't win, but ain't no punks on San Antonio. In fact, probably got to look like a little wannabe hoodlums over there, some thuggish, ruggish bone going on. Because them dudes, they coming out. Especially, Castle. They had to take, it was like 30 seconds left in the game. Castle ready to scrap with Caruso. I'm like, man, if you don't go back to the bench. So I'm looking forward to it. Young versus old. We'll see. And now, what is it? Becky Hammond came out and said you can't win with a little dude.
Which was really strange to me. Like, was she not there when Tony Parker was there and Avery Johnson was there? It's like, do you not remember Isaiah Thomas? I mean, you now I'm realizing why they didn't give you that San Antonio job.
Oh, wow. Did you say that now?
Now I realize, like, yeah, that might have been a smart move to let you go to the WNBA because when she said that, I'm like, all these guys that played that won championships and dominated games and was able to play games, and she just, I mean, she coached. I guess was she there when Tony Parker was there?
Yeah, but Tony Parker, it's small as Tony Parker. He's not Brunson size, is he?
I mean, he's about the same height. I mean, it's not too much of a difference. But
She said
there's a
little
lot of people who
guard.
doubted, JB when he came in. I mean, most of New York, the journalists in New York did not see this coming, and now they're jumping on the bandwagon, and folks are like, "Nah, we remember what you said. Just stay
Yeah,
where you at. Stay where you at."
right. But that's New York, right? Nothing's good enough. That's New York. That's that. I mean,
No,
real.
it was those journalists because a lot of people saw what this guy did in Villanova. We saw what he did in Dallas. I'm like, okay, this is the point guard that, I think that could do well. This guy comes from championships, from high school to college. Now he has a chance to do it in the NBA, and he's there with his guys. He did it in college in Villanova, so they know they've experienced this kind of level of championship play, and I think they're up for
Like you said, we'll see.
it.
That's
Yeah.
why they play the games.
Starts Wednesday night, so we'll see.
So they play the games. Bring
Yep,
your heart at.
yep.
Young boys is coming.
All right. Don't be like Charles Barkley. Them young boys, they come. Pause. Come on, man. The Major League Baseball report, as only ice water can do it. What's happening in Major League Baseball, man?
Man, let me tell you something. There's been some changes, but pretty most for the most part, a lot of things are staying the same. It's still early, as we said, in the American League East. Tampa Bay is up by a game and a half over the Yankees. The damn Yankees still trying to play a little baseball. 6-4 in their last 10, staying close enough just till they get close to the playoffs. But it's a long way before the All-Star break. Moving forward there in the Central, we have the Cleveland Guardians are up one game on the White Sox. White Sox hanging tough, baby. In the memory of the great Bill Veeck, baby. Hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on. Moving over to the West in the American League, Seattle has jumped up and taken over first place from the Athletics. The no-name Athletics have dropped down. They were 3-7 in their last 10 and overtaken by Seattle, who was 8-2 in their last 10. And it'll be interesting from that standpoint because Houston's 4.5 back, Texas is 2.5 back. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes up the rest of the way. I think that's going to be a very interesting division until the All-Star break. Moving over to the National League East, Atlanta Braves right now are just kind of running away with it early. They're up by 9 games on second place Nationals, 9.5 on the Phillies. So they're playing a really good baseball right now. 40-20, 667 is their percentage. Right now, early good baseball being played by Atlanta Braves. Moving over to the Central Milwaukee Brewers are up by 4.5 over the Cubs. Cubs still hanging in. Some way, I don't know how they do it, smoke and mirrors, but they still winning ball games. My Reds have dropped again to last place. They're 6 out. But in that division, anything can happen. You just need to stay close in the
Everybody has a
Central.
winning record. Everybody's over 500 in that division.
Finally, they were last week. It was just the opposite. Everybody but one team was
Yeah.
below 500. So you live and die without a sword. And finally, in the West, the Dodgers have creeped back up, and they are now leading that division by 5.5 over the Padres. I think one before earlier, the Padres were leading that by a half game or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, if you can blink your eye and say bewitched, the Padres are in second place. So Dodgers making moves, 8-2 in their last 10. Padres were 3-7, so they had that old switcheroo and drop. And we're not surprised by the Dodgers. The only person surprised, and he's not surprised, is Pop. Pop just want to be disgruntled till they win another title. Nobody playing. We ain't messing with you, Pop. You know I heard you. We ain't messing with you. You just want to have something to be disgruntled about. Not working this year. We see you, Pop. Spend all that money over there, acting like something wrong with your team. Sound like anyway. Sound like boom. Anyway, but we're gonna follow them soon. So anyway, y'all two of the best teams, and they over here frustrated and disgruntled. What about the teams that ain't never won shit? You feel me? So y'all need to go on and have that side conversation somewhere else. Ain't nobody listening to that. What about the Cleveland Indians? Anyway, or not Indians now, but the Guardians. My bad. Anyway,
Why you bust us out like that?
I'm just saying. Every week, Yankees ain't this, Dodgers ain't this.
Yeah.
You're at the top. Don't nobody hear you crying when you're on top. Well, I want to hear that,
Well, I am my
especially
father's
not in
child.
Cleveland. Yeah,
I am my father's child. I am my
I
father.
ain't mad at you. Yeah, okay.
Speaking of the Padres, we had a story that came up that is newsworthy. Kwanzaa Jones, husband of Jose E. Feliciano, both of them are investors, and they have put in their bid with an investment group to purchase the San Diego Padres for $3.9 billion. I don't think it's finalized yet, but she would be the first Black woman to become a majority owner of a Major League Baseball team for 123 years. Wow. Your thoughts on that, man?
Amazing feat, particularly at this time for baseball. Baseball has done a change overall when including African Americans in their game. It's not to say they don't want African Americans in the game, but there's a time where you really, in the African American community, knew the players and you didn't have to worry about somebody coming from south of the equator. And that's okay, all right? The players are there, nothing to take around from the gentlemen from other places. But there's a time where you had the majority of a lot of the higher percentage of African Americans were in the game, and now it seems like they just fell off. And it does has nothing to do with I don't think with the ownership, but to see Major League Baseball, particularly if they move forward with the vote, because you got to have so many percentage of votes by the owners, and I hope they let this happen so you can see that baseball truly is still in a all inclusive type situation where they're including everybody. I think it would speak volumes for baseball, and it just makes sense because when you look back at the history of baseball and the Negro Leagues, when it started, African Americans were all over the forefront. So why not have someone like this with Kwanzaa that maybe could have a resurgence of baseball in the African American community? You
Yeah.
just never know how that will play out. So we'll see.
Yeah. Hopefully it will happen, and looking forward to it. And instead of doing a last second shot, I'm going to say, season 11 has been a great season with the NFL picks and all that stuff. We usually take, again, I said it on the top of the show, we usually take a summer's break. But when stories come about me and Ice, and usually Ice will text me like, "Hey man, we need to talk about this." We'll get back on and we'll do some special shows. We are going to be doing a podcast coming out very, very soon. We talked about it last week, so you'll be seeing us pop up, especially in boxing. We're going to talk about boxing shows. Some of the boxing bouts that are coming up this summer are really good bouts. So you'll see us in the fight game also. But we're looking forward to season 12. And I talked to a lot of the squad members, and they're looking forward to it too. We're going to set it up where I don't have to keep track of the who wins or not, because I'll always get accused of fudging the numbers. So we can do it like March Madness. Ice will be working on that so that we can put our picks in, and so we can follow it online instead of following it and waiting for me to stay up late at night during Monday Night Football trying to get it in. But it's always a pleasure to do these shows and to hang out with my boy, known him since college, and got much love for him. You know how we say we can't say it on this show. You my dude, man. That's it. Any words from you, man? Love it,
Yeah,
bro.
these are great. These are great because we get a chance to kind of share our thoughts and put it out there. And most people think we wrong as hell, which we can be, but it's fun because really the whole point behind this is getting you guys to think and really give your opinion, but giving you some solid background information instead of just some crap. Because you listen to a lot of crap. Now they might have better sets, they might have a bigger staff, right? But not too many of them are gonna come correct and bring it to you like this from a different perspective. I'm just keeping it 100. So we want to grow the numbers, but if they don't, we still gonna bring you to the people that are really down with us. They're really looking for something true and real. We're going to be in the process right now of updating the Reality of Sports website, and that is going to be a more in all-inclusive site where a lot of the shows that are here and some things that Puma's talked about in the past are going to be available on that website. So it's going to be updated. So you're going to be able to go there, see up-to-date, updated articles, because I know some of y'all been like, really? Are y'all ever going to do something with that? We are. So we're in the process now of making updates, and we hear you, we feel y'all and we hear y'all. So we're going to do that. So I appreciate you guys connecting with us and holding on and supporting us. We really appreciate it. One last thing though, I was going to not say this, but I'm going to say it now because I think it's necessary. It's AAU season coming up for basketball, right? schools are out and things like that too. And I thought about this. I was watching something, and I think I saw another melee with fans going out to coaches and coaches running and the refs running and everything. And I thought about it. I thought about the time years ago when I used to coach at a school and help out with an after school program in basketball. And I was coaching fourth through sixth graders, co-ed, which was amazing. I loved it. So yeah, boys and girls had to play together, which is really interesting feat in itself. But I remember I'm just watching all these things happening and these kids going off and whatnot. And I had one season where I was coaching a team, and the team that we selected, I thought they were pretty good kids. But when we got to the games, they were like freezing up. They just didn't play well. So one of the parents was very vocal, and she used to always say from time to time, "We need a new coach. We need a new coach because you ain't teaching these kids nothing." And we would be losing, and I would try to coach them real hard and try to talk to them, but they just didn't perform. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, man, this is tough. And she said, I'm about to get my cousin or my nephew or somebody to coach. And I was so bad one to say, well, bring them up because I hear. And you see how see what these dang on kids are not performing. So my point in all this is to say, particularly parents, I know we all love our kids and you want your kids to be the next great one. And some of y'all have put y'all dreams and hopes on little Nene being the next great one to save the whole family from financial ruin, right? And saving y'all. Look, send them to school, get a damn trade, and if they make it in the league or do well, great. But I also know too, maybe it's not the coach's fault. Maybe your son and daughter just ain't that damn good. And maybe you might want to work on that game, give them some personal lessons. If you're feeling some kind of way, maybe it ain't the coach's fault. Maybe your child just ain't got it. Okay, I know that's hard to accept. Are you going to tell? I'm telling you, it ain't for everybody. It's the only reason why there's a minute, small number of people who actually make it in D1. I know there's a lot of pressure with NIL and everything. Everybody want their money. Remember, they don't give that money to everybody. There's only a select few. So all I'm saying to you is when you have a child that may be a protege or you think they may be, you might want to think about that first before you put all that pressure on them because all kids are not built to handle that pressure. So make sure that they are true and real. One last thing, if you do have them on the AAU team, everybody wants to go with the popular AAU teams that's winning and going to Florida and give them a chance to get championships. If I had a kid or a son or daughter that's coming up out right this time, I'm putting them on a team where they can get some work. You understand what I'm saying? I don't need my kid to be the 12th man or woman or 11th man or woman on a bench on a championship team. If you want to win, you got to put work in. That means you need to play. So if you even getting beat by 20 and you starting and playing, that's how you get work. It's individual skill sets. It's working on individual specialized skills. That's how you get better. Shooting 100 jumpers a day or shooting from the elbow, bringing the ball up the court, learning the fundamentals and the foundation of solid basketball, whatever the skill set is, in tennis, whatever it is. Fundamentals is the key to everything. The games are great, and you don't have to be the best athlete to play with higher talent. You need a high IQ and understand how to develop your skill set. That's how you can become something that is always needed. Not just because you think you want to score 60 points a game. That's not how it's done. They got only a certain few people that are allowed to do those certain things. Otherwise, even in football, whatever it is, they need specialization, people that can do their job to allow those so-called stars to really evolve and advance. You got to think, where can I become an asset where they can never take me out the field? If it's from football, whatever, are you a placeholder? Are you a field goal kicker? Are you a lineman? Whatever. You want to say, I'm a guy or woman that they can't take out the field because they need me so bad to be successful. So think about it next time you get mad because your child is not performing and want to blame the coach. Look in the mirror.
We'll see you when we see you. Take care. Have a great summer.